This is the Dog Psychology Podcast with Linn Boyke, Todd Langston, and Art Ortiz.
Are you an umpire, Art?
I am. I'm a referee between you and Linn. That's why I wore the shirt. I bought this shirt. I got a flag. I got a whistle. I got everything.
Oh, boy. I got an NBA ump right now. Are they refs or umpires in the NBA?
Refs. They are refs, yeah.
Cool guy. So
yeah, cool guy.
You're on.
I like how he busted it out too. He had it like hidden, and then it's like, now I'm here. The ref is here.
That's why I did it. I covered it, and then.
Is that going to be your Halloween costume?
No, it's just for the podcast.
Oh my god!
Oh, for real, huh? Okay.
All right, so welcome to the Dog Psychology Podcast, where we talk all things dog psychology. Today, we're going to change it up. We're going to change the format a little bit. I'm your referee today, between Linn and Todd. If you guys aren't watching us on YouTube or on Spotify, I'm wearing a referee shirt. It's a black and white striped. I look like Beetlejuice in a way, but today we're going to change the format. We're going to basically answer some questions that have come in and kind of just get our take on what we think. And we're going to have Adam, our producer. Adam, are you actually on here? Like, you're going to be on with us?
Here. Yeah, I'm on here with you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. You guys get to meet our producer, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I'm just here helping the show move along, and a little bit of my background. I do media production. I've learned from all of these great dog people over the years about dog psychology. So I'm actually getting into that world a little bit. But yeah, I'm glad to be joining you guys. So first thing I wanted to know was like what was everybody up to? If we could start with Linn real quick. Like, what are you guys up to, like, in work? What are you guys working on with dogs and all that?
Right now, I'm in L.A. The person who watches my dogs, Aubrey, she's amazing. She watches my dogs when I travel, because I do travel a lot. But she doesn't take much time for herself. So this is a really good week for her to go and visit some family. And I am back in, like, a facility type of environment and working.
You're in your happy place.
Dogs. Yeah. It's a little different now. It's been a while since I've done stuff like that, but it's interesting. It's fun. So, I don't know my teeth, do I? Okay, good.
No, we're all good.
But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna be here for a good week. So,
doing what?
Just running the facility. I've got. I think there's like 22 dogs here. Or something
so you're taking care of her facility.
Yeah.
Take time off. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Right. What about you, Art?
I've just been working on a couple of projects that I got coming along. We got some. I'm doing these webinars that I started doing, and kind of polled my audience to kind of see what we're going to be doing next month. Just kind of get a taste of see what people want. And a lot of people overwhelmingly want to see a webinar on working with nervous dogs. So next month, in February, we're going to be doing a webinar on working with sensitive and nervous dogs. So we adopted a dog named Gracie. I've kind of mentioned her in the past about how she's been on medication and stuff like that. And she came to us as a client. We ended up adopting her because she did so well here with our dogs and with the pack, and has just really thrived, completely off medication. And so we're just planning a whole webinar thing with Anne and Allison, who's our manager, and then just little projects that we got here going on for next month. So
I keep threatening to do webinars too. I think I'm gonna do some. I got a good idea for one to start off with. It's great. I love that you're doing that and doing it a lot, actually. So it inspires me. Thanyou.
You're welcome. Yeah. You were actually one of my first guests. I mean, not a guest, but like you were on as a participant in one of my first webinars, and you gave me some critique, and you really helped me out with some of the things, some of the wording, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Yeah,
I think it's cool to do that more often with everybody. I think getting Todd involved too, because it's a global reach. We can get people from all over the place to do those things.
I still think we should do a live, like a YouTube live or something.
Cut out.
We should, but I think we should all be together when we do that, right? In the same room.
Don't need to.
I don't need to, but it'd be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool if we're all. I guess we'd have to all go to Orlando.
That sounds like
because why is that? Because I don't think you're going anywhere.
I travel not as much as I used to,
Okay.
but I'm less inclined. There's lots of offers. Come up here and spend a day. Come up here and spend a couple of days. And at one point, it was kind of romantic and cool, and I think it lets you think you made it. And then at some point, it's like, oh shit, I got to get on a plane again, and I got to go. Oh, all right. But I don't like leaving as much as I used to. So
Yeah, it starts to wear on you after a while.
I like to try. It's funny at the beginning of my time with Caesar, we were working a lot. We were doing a lot of those events, and I was flying so much that I worked so much on being able to fly well that now that that's like my excited part of a trip. It's like I'm looking forward to getting on the plane and just getting a good seat and relaxing. It used to be terror, but that's the one part I actually kind of not mind. Airports suck, but do you guys, hey, Art, do you remember, this is a funny travel story. Do you, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I've landed in LA and I'm coming out, I'm getting ready to exit the airport. I've got a backpack on, I'm getting ready to exit the airport. And there's this golden retriever that's got a service vest on it.
I was hoping you would just share the story, but go ahead.
Come on, it's great. It was running around, right? And I'm like, that's odd. I'm like, this is weird. I'm looking at this dog and I sit and I watch it for a minute because I'm thinking maybe somebody's working with it or it's doing some type of work. And after, 60 seconds, you can see the dog you start looking around, the dog's looking for somebody. I'm like, what's going on with this dog? And I pull a leash out of my bag and the dog goes outside, and that's what it was. The dog goes outside. I'm like, I wasn't going to get involved. It's not my dog. It's not my situation. The dog walks outside. I'm like, oh shit, I got to get involved now because it's super busy out at LAX. I get the dog to come to me. I put a leash on it, and this real frantic girl comes up looking for the dog. Now, this is the funny part: is that in LAX, of all the people there, the girl that lost the dog was Kat, the girl that was working for Caesar at the time.
Boy.
Yeah, and she lost her dog. I found it, and she was so humiliated by it. She couldn't even look me in the eye. And of all the people to find it, so it was there you go. There's your travel story.
So the cat
that wasn't 3 years ago. That was actually last year.
It was last year. Yeah, the cat lost the dog. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's amazing. So dude, what do you?
She's
Sorry.
What's that?
I was just going to ask. So what are you up to?
No,
obviously not traveling.
No, I just started working with somebody that's going to help me build an online platform. So it's online, like different online education packages and different things. So to take advantage of some of the social media success and take advantage of the eyes on it and put things together that people can buy, in different levels and different degrees. And I have somebody that's got this. It's like a pre-made platform, and you buy it and you just plug your stuff into it. It's expensive, but they build you're built this online platform of a business that looks pretty.
That sounds interesting.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, it's everything that I've thought of for years and years and years, all the way down to even like packaging. Yeah, there's a really cool aspects to this, and she thinks there's a huge opportunity to do very, very well that way. So it's the epitome of not having to travel.
Agree.
Totally agree. May have to talk to you about that person.
Well, the thing that happens here, this is what's really cool. Let's say that I build my platform and I get it exactly like I want to, and you have your platform. I'm just saying, we're leaping ahead. You can actually buy some of my videos to sell to your students and vice versa. Like I can buy videos of somebody else's platform, like Michael Burke, our meditation person. And we can go, hey, look, either we'll pay you a percentage of people that see your video, or I'll just buy your video outright and use it because I want to use it as part of maybe my self-help package that I'm selling, right? But I don't want to go and do all that meditation stuff. That's not my thing. And so you have this really cool ability to network. Like I'm just now getting at the start of it. But I feel like it's going to be the next part of my business that just consumes me. I kind of get in like that, and I think this is going to be it. And the end. I think this is the ending of some of the more like super getting dirty type of work.
Totally agree.
That's what I'm actually looking to do. I don't know why I didn't bring it up with what we were doing, but I think I found my new favorite way to teach, and I have I started a 90-day program. It's called Awareness, and this one that's current and the next one that I'll start up are really just me refining it, making it really, really good so that then I can open it up to the world. But it's 90 days. I get to teach everything that I know from A to Z. And right now it's at a price nobody can resist. But I'm really excited about it. I get to break everything down. And then I'll probably do I am going to do a second type of 90 day. So all information, first one, and then the next one is all body mechanic stuff. So I think this, especially our age, is probably going to be my favorite way to teach. And then I definitely want to do some things like you're talking about with the webinars and other things that you can just purchase. You know, I don't know why I've waited so long to do that, but it's I just enjoy it. I got people from all over the world.
It's a perfect time
right
though,
now.
dude. It's a perfect time because like now everybody is seeking that from all over the place. And what I like about what you and Todd are saying, and also what Art is doing is everybody can see you guys, doing that like forever. Like, so if this is your last thing to do, Todd, it's a perfect thing because this could live on forever. If you have like videos that live on. Yeah.
Make money while you sleep if that's what you're looking to do. And we all need money, but we talked before about being comfortable about what you teach. And I think this is going to be the most comfortable way. First several weeks are all, lecture. So that's the part where people have to commit. This isn't a 30-second TikTok video. This is everything. You got to memorize everything because it's necessary. Because when we get into the practice part and you don't have the words, then you don't have the understanding. I'm really enjoying the idea of actually having this.
Well, I would like to take credit for that, Linn, because I pushed you in that direction.
You can take credit for pushing me, but I've had that idea since before Todd was even a student. I made all my students record every single thing. This is before YouTube even.
But an idea is just like an asshole. Everyone's got an idea until you follow through with it. 1, 2, follow through, Linn. 1, 2, follow through.
Yeah, or nobody believes you. Yep, I get it.
I'm just using a rule on yourself,
Yeah, nice. But never use a rule against anybody. That's an important thing. They don't want to do it for spite. But I understand you're using it for comedy, so I'm going to let you slide because I want to be in good with the ref. You do
want me to? I'm going to throw a flag at you, blow a whistle.
Oh no!
Personal foul.
Watch out. Well, actually, Linn, to that. The last video that we posted was the responsibility of dog training. And just because you were just talking about yourself and all the things you're doing, somebody just had a comment here and said, please be kind to yourself, Linn. Her name is Susan. And it's like, you're taking a lot of responsibility for the work that you're doing in the training world, things that you've entered into the training world. But I think that being like easy with yourself, having grace, and just letting those things go, it's going to allow you to do what Art is suggesting. It's just going to be the follow through. You're not going to be so worried about the flack. Let's just say that if you feel any.
What I feel is I don't know. I think I have PTSD from everything. Here's the deal. And I never want somebody to just have to put their dog down without understanding the dog, because the last thing they see is you and your guilt and your shame, and you put them in a tiny room where it's all bouncing off the wall, and the doctor comes in and now your dog reacts, and then they bring 5 guys in with a thick blanket and they hold the guy down and put purple juice in him and he's gone. And that's the last thing the dog remembers. So I took it on myself to
do it.
Any of my clients that needed it, I would make it the dog's last day as if it's his first day, and it would never know that it was going to have to be put down. And whether it was 1 day or I had it for 5 days, when I walk into the vet or where we were going, that dog thought we were going into, hey, I think I'm going to get my temperature taken, and then would would go to the other side. I would always take the last breath from the dog, and then I used to share that emotion with humans, but then I didn't have many humans around, so it kind of locked up inside of me, and I did that for years for people.
Yeah.
I did it for the dogs because
so actually that
they
makes
just never knew anything was happening.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as
And
to
when you
like how you feel things. You know, I think that's probably going to be something that you could just touch on, how you feel all of the stuff that you've done over the years with the dogs. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like a form of love, but you're sensitive about that love. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's creeped back up on me, and I just it's not like it was. I was doing I don't know how veterinarians do it, but I was doing it for the dog. They don't do what I would do with a dog, where I'm spending, a day or 2 days as if it's the first day in the world. That's the dog knows nothing else but, wow, this is great. And that's how they leave. This is great. Right? The worst thing in the world is to watch a dog know something bad is going to happen and then watch the struggle. I just would tell the vet, stop, don't, not now, no way, because that's not a way to go. And, I can't tell you how many I helped. And at one point, I think I had to stop. I was like, I can't do this for anybody anymore. I don't even want to do it for my own self. And, things just changed. Things altered within me. And it was for the love of the dogs. It was for the love of the dogs. But,
you shared that with all of us. All do that. That's something we all now do, at least in the situations when we're in. So the thing that you did teach us is that you're the best last day.
But you're not doing 100 dogs, so don't do that many dogs. The what?
I was going to say, share like a little bit of a synopsis of what that is. Like just that you had difficulties of like dealing with certain aspects of the training world, and that's what's making, the responsibility feel more burdensome.
I don't recommend anybody going out and making it their mission to do that. And I never took a penny, which really would upset Caesar. What? You did the work, Linn. It wasn't work for me. It was part of the heart. And it's darkened my days. So I don't suggest y'all go out and do it. It is something that you may run across where you have to help a client's dog be put down. The best thing you can do is make that's their last day, but make it their first day in the world. I don't care if you give them steak, ice cream, whatever, or a high structure. I had to listen to this, and then I'll move on, but I had to put Ted down. You remember Ted, Todd?
Yep.
Ted used to belong to Michael Steele from the Bangles. I walk like an Egyptian. And Ted is where I began my journey with dog aggression. Boy, he was amazingly fast. It wasn't even aggression. It was just a correction. But when he got cancer, I had to let him go. And there were 2 students. It's their first day of school. And the first day you learn you don't get to speak. And so now they don't know what's going on. They're just in my vehicle with me and Ted, don't know where we're going. We show up over at the vet, and I purposely parked 2 or 3 blocks away and made Ted walk, and he could barely move, but I made him walk all the way. Come on, buddy. Let's go, pal. Just effort. And of course, it was his last moments, and the students were in there, and it was insane. And he's one of my favorite dogs, so it was really crazy. That's why I do Hump Day Hero, by the way. That song is my favorite song ever, and it was playing while I was driving him there, and so I could never hear Hero from Foo Fighters again properly or regularly. That's why I started the Hump Day Hero. And so I've changed, and we're talking about this, I've altered the association I had to that song back to something better, Heroes. And I could never listen to that song without just bawling. But anyway, that's what Hump Day Hero is all about. But when the reason I put Ted through that effort, that 2-block effort, because the night before,
Don't try
I was living. I was living in.
Yeah, dude.
I was living in that secondary place after I was homeless, and Ted, there was a 2-step thing to get up on the patio, and I had all the dogs back there. You remember Chester?
Mm.
Chester was like a shark, and he just wait for everybody to be not looking for him to jump in. But Ted was trying to get up that 2 steps, and I said, "Come here, buddy, let me help you." And I reached down to help him, and he reared up and looked at me like, "How dare you? How dare you embarrass me in front of the pack?" So I said, "Okay." "Okay, buddy, it's you." I put Chester away because he was looking at him, the shark. For 20 minutes. For 20 minutes, we watched Ted struggle to get up those stairs. I love that dog. And I was so embarrassed that I just tried to help him. And when he looked at me like that, I was like, okay. And everybody, except for Chester, we all just waited and watched him. And climb up those steps. And he did it. And then the next day, I had the students arrive and went through the thing. They couldn't talk. And then I made him do the 2-block walk. I kissed him goodbye. But he was like 20 pounds by then. You remember how big he was. Anyway, I would like to let it go, the cry, and let it go. But if I do, I don't think I can stop. So I don't let myself. And at some point,
dude, you're trapped. It's trapped, dude. It's out. I mean, let it rut out. Let it rip out.
I wouldn't have been able to finish.
So what?
It's all good. Yeah.
I
By the
need
way,
to let it out.
This was needed for sure.
I think, like, by the way, I've seen both of you guys cry, and I've cried. Todd probably seen me cry before, but Todd, I remember, and you can go into this. There was a story you shared at TCW about your dog, and you were meditating, and you were just crying on stage, and you're just sharing with all the students. And I was like, "Whoa, I've never seen this side of Todd." That's a cool story. And by the way, I think this is something we can all talk about because we get so attached to these animals, and they become part of us in our lives and how they influence us. I'll share my story after you're done, Todd, but like how difficult that is, but also how beautiful and at the same time that could be.
Well, we have to let it this, Linn. After you lose a dog like that, how quick do you collect yourself?
I collected, with him, that was different. The problem, and I'll be honest with you, is I stopped grieving after Canyon, my favorite dog in the whole wide world, died, and I still have not grieved her. I don't grieve the dog's loss. And the cleanest, I did grieve Drift, but that was clean. That was clean. And what I did there was I never had a dog live past 14. And so when she turned 14, just every day we wake up and I just tell her how thankful I am she's here, how much I love her, and what we're going to do that day. And then at night, before we go to bed, I tell her what a great day we had. And then I would see her in the morning so we could have a great day again. I did that for 2 years. She lived 2 extra years. And when she finally died, it was just I cried, I grieved, and then it was done in one day. I never held on to that. It was the cleanest one ever. But Tuffy, I didn't cry. I didn't get to cry for you yet. I haven't cried for Tuffy, Tina, Cleo, Canyon. It's all inside. It's all inside me. Yes, I hear you, big fella. I hear you.
The dogs are feeling it.
Yeah.
Bring her out every single time. So the reason I asked the question is, and this is what Art was talking about, and I'm tearing up a little bit. So several years ago, I was at a peak meditation. I was meditating at such a high, consistent level. And when people ask what it offers you, at the time I would explain it like it helps you pull back like an onion, like in your mind. And this isn't intentional. It's not that it's happening with any type of purpose. It happens. And I was meditating in the mornings, and the night before, I had a conversation with Yoa about the grief he went through with his dog Batman, and how about how he really it tore him up. And I said, just make sure you grieve. I go, unfortunately, I don't feel like I grieve anymore. And at this point, I'd had to let go of 4 or 5 dogs and put them down in the whole process. And I go, but I feel like I don't grieve. I feel like by the end of the drive home, almost, it's like the tears have dried up and I'm moving on. And this morning of the meditation, or morning, I'm waking up and I'm meditating. And in the meditation, it's still there. All the dogs came to me, and they were all there at this one point. Kind of to say, it's cool, man, it's cool. And what it had told me is that I had pushed it down. And finally I'd gotten to it. And it had to come up. And that's the whole point, is I can hear in you, you're trying to force it down almost. It's almost just like a reaction, like it's just the thing to do. Let's let it down. And it's one of those things that that entire day, I was crying. I mean, the whole day. It's like when a dog shakes. It's got to come out. Because if it doesn't come out, it's going to come out. But it's going to come out different. It's going to come out slow. It's going to come out like a fucking pressure cooker. And that was so meaningful because I had to do it again, but with a cat. And I approached it slightly different. And to your point, like you just said with Drift, it was a cat I'd had for 17 years, but it was clean. And I think giving yourself permission to feel like shit and giving yourself the permission to allow for misgivings you may or may not have had with that dog is that's the gift, man. And
real quick, dudes.
Why I can't let it go?
Go.
What? Go ahead.
You said real quick.
Oh, I was just going to say real quick. I'm going to let you go back to your point. For those of you listening, I just read a comment and told Linn to have some grace for himself based off of the comment, not to feel so much responsibility. And this talk is coming from that. But I wanted to tell you guys real quick, the vulnerability is a strength. Sometimes as men, it's like you have to not suppress, but you're not allowed sometimes. And what Todd is saying is super powerful about that.
Well, that's what men do. We suppress it, which we shouldn't be doing.
Shouldn't. But when I was, I guess I was 15, I won't make this a long story, but it is a powerful one. And I know this is the reason. When I was 15, 2 people in my school died really close together in time. One of them was a really good friend of mine, one not a really good friend, becoming a good friend of mine. It was a senior. And I was, whatever you are at 15, and I don't know why he took a liking to me. It was really cool, and we did stuff, and it was fun. When he died by accident, and when I went to his funeral, I didn't cry. Now this is leading up to all back from all the stuff that I lived through before I was 15, which is a whole nother story. But then Shelly died right after that, and we went to her funeral, and I started crying, and I couldn't stop. I thought, because we were over by Keith's headstone too, and I mean Kenton's headstone, and I couldn't stop crying. And my friend Jeff Welton and his girlfriend gave me a ride home, and I couldn't stop crying. It was like real guttural, and and at one point I could see them making eye rolls and looking at each other like, come on, really? And I tried more to stop. And these are friends of mine. And I get it must have sounded horrible and long. I mean, long time, but I can't get their faces out of my mind that I was doing something wrong by grieving. I don't think it was just grieving Shelly or even Kenton. I think everything was coming out at that time, and I couldn't stop it. But when I saw that, these tears are about as much as you get from me, ever, because I can't, you see me like swallowing it. I cannot afford in my brain to see that I don't know, that disposable, or that, like, what is he crying for? What,
you know what though?
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't allowed.
It's not necessarily them saying that you're not allowed. It's them not knowing how to react, right? People will laugh and they'll go.
Yeah, I get it.
So it like,
I get that for sure.
But now, dude, it's like, it's good to just vent a little bit, get it out. Because one thing I wanted to add to that is the throat chakra, right? Like the throat chakra, like if you can't speak and if you can't like let out certain emotions and feelings, you can actually get sick from that shit, dude. Like we want your knowledge. We want you to be around here on this earth to help dogs, help humans. And eventually through this podcast, and I think that we should show a lot of this, is get it out, let it out, because when you don't do that, you literally can get like thyroidism, like all kinds of like ailments by holding that stuff in.
You know, as men, it's as anybody, but as men, that's the thing when it comes to this grief, that is, if you turn away from it, you're going to have to face it at some point. And look what we do. We constantly are working with people who haven't faced their shit, right? So we're called in to be the one that lets the dog blow up and let it all purge out. So somebody's got to do it for us, dude. Let it out, brother. I mean, fuck. It's got to get out. And
You know,
Yeah.
I what I'd like to share is that, you know, I've gone through loss recently with my dog Frankie back in February, but in 2020 I lost. So I had 3 dogs that I call, like, we used to call them the Rat Pack. They're my original 3, and it was Emma, Hero, and Frankie. And Emma passed away in September of 2020 during COVID, and then Hero passed away exactly 3 weeks later. So I lost 2 dogs within 3 weeks. And then this past February, Frankie passed away. And, you know, I always wanted to, you know, in the first episode, we talked about what is dog psychology. And what I said is dog psychology to me is honoring the dog, right? And that takes it not only through their life, but even through death. How can we honor them? It's all about honor. And so when he passed away, I'd like to share what I wrote, and I share this on my social media. And it was my way of honoring him, but also help me grieve his loss. And so I said, let's see if I can make it through this. And if I cry, I cry. It is what it is, right? It says, I refuse to accept sorry for your loss. And I said that because the first thing people always say is when your dog passes away, I'm sorry for, or anyone passes, I'm sorry for your loss. But for me, it's like, why? I had a great life with him. Like, I look at it I come from a different way of, like, a positive outlook on it. So let me read the whole thing. I refuse to accept sorry for your loss because his life was everything I could have ever imagined. Grateful for the time that we did spend together. How lucky am I that I got to spend so many great years with you, from the dog I didn't want from the beginning to a dog I absolutely needed. From pulling me out of depression, of the failures in my life, you started by nudging my hand to wake me up and walk you. Emma and Hero, the original 3, you gave me the confidence to overcome any adversity. How did a tiny dog like yourself teach me so much about myself and life? I am better because of you. I am better for you and for me. My best friend, my Frankie. Rather than asking, what am I going to do without you? I will say, I can't wait to see what I do because of you. This is your legacy. Your death is like the clouds changing forms. Your physical presence will be gone, but your spiritual presence will live with me forever. Dogs don't live long enough, but just long enough till we're ready. When I say I'm better because of my dog, that dog is Frankie. Thank you for 12 amazing years. Run free. The original three, Emma, Hero, and Frankie, are together again. And so I wrote that because, I wanted to honor him. And so now, even though he's not here, I'm doing things because of him. And the work that I do, that I continue to work, is because of him and the three total, right? And so that is my way of looking at my life and saying, I'm going to do these things because of him, not what am I going to do without him. And so that is how I grieve. But even how they put him down, like they came to the house. I mean, I want to share the story really quick, because the last video I have of him alive, it was the morning. So I had the vet come out to our house. That's why I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in the comfort of our own home. It was just me and him, and took all the dogs out. And so I got to just me and him share his last moment with me, just with me. And so the vet came over, and I set up my camera, not to record it, but I was setting my camera just because I wanted to film some stuff. And then it happened, he walked into the frame, and he jumps on the couch. And then it's like a 9-second video, and in the background you can hear a bird chirping. And I didn't know this when I recorded this, but I went back and watched it like 2 weeks later. And that bird that's chirping is a cardinal, a male cardinal. Okay? And so when I went back and watched it, I was like, wow, that's a cardinal's chirp. And so, they say that a cardinal is, a male cardinal is someone in your past life that is visiting you. Okay? A week after I watched that video, and I was at a client's house, and I'm talking to the client. I'm standing under a tree, and this bird is really loud. And the client goes, wow, that's a really loud bird. I'm like, I look up, and it's a male cardinal. Okay? And then, that's not all. There's a bunch of these stories. And that happened again at another client's house. But on Father's Day this past year, my wife and I and the kids were at the Arboretum on Father's Day. And we're walking. And what do you see? A cardinal fly right next to us and kind of just like walk with us, right? Then we went to Oklahoma on a family trip, and Ann and I are having discussions about buying some land in Oklahoma near Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Like, it'd be really nice to have a little vacation home out here. We're kind of having this whole thing, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know, like, should we not? Like, what are some of the, like, I need a sign or something. Like, what? I need a sign. So Ann walks back to our vehicle, and River and I and Canyon are in the water in the river. And so Ann walks back, and she comes back. She's like, hey, you're not going to believe this. She's like, watch this. I recorded a video, and there's a cardinal that's trying to get into our vehicle. And Ann has a video of him trying to get in, this cardinal, a male cardinal, because they're red, trying to get in the vehicle. Okay. Then this is the last part of the story, is that I was at our dog social. I'm having a conversation with a client who just lost. She had 2 dogs, and one of her dog had passed away. That Monday, our social was on Saturday, so her dog had passed away on that Monday. And I'm telling her the story about Frankie and the cardinal and this, and so I'm like literally having a conversation. As soon as I'm done with my conversation, cardinal flies right in between us, lands in the bush behind us, and we just look at each other and get these chills, because I'm just telling her about how a cardinal is, red cardinal, male cardinal can visit you, because all these things, and a cardinal flies right in between us. And as we're having a conversation, and we just look at each other and get like chills, like what just happened? That was like super, it was just crazy. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Insane.
Same thing, but it was a bald eagle.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
You know what's crazy about the whole bird thing is, I feel like everything can mean something, but we live out here on a ranch up on a mountain, and there was a bunch of turkey vultures flying above, and there was like a lot, and so I think they were migrating, and so they all kind of like meet in this place, and then they get
for food.
Oh, no, there was way too many for it to just be food, bro. If it was for food, it would have been like the entire mountain was going to get eaten by these birds, because there was thousands of them. And when
Oh gosh.
yeah, so when we saw them, we were like, I'm just going to look this up. And so what the turkey vulture meant that I didn't know was that it means like new beginnings, or like a lot of changes happening, but it's like for the greater good type of thing. And they could signify death as well, I believe. Like owls signify wisdom, but it's crazy, man. All this stuff means something. And honestly, real quick, because we're getting close to our time here, but this was to me a really, really good episode on people. I think people will get a lot out of it, especially what Todd was saying too about not avoiding things. You know, like it's like the Super Mario game. There's like that Boo ghost thing that when you look at it, it stops moving, and when you turn around, it keeps following you. You know, like that to me was a good visual to know. It's like, dude, we can't avoid things. We have to look at them, face them, and then we could do it at our own time, our own pace. But you can't like avoid things, because they will, you know, follow you forever, really.
Hey, Todd, do you remember when they put down Joe?
Yep, I was there. I was there for his ceremony for it, but it was during the TCW.
Yeah. So those who were, go ahead.
Those you were saying you had the vet come out to the house. The last dog that we lost, I'm out front of the house and I'm videotaping her, Almondine, and I'm kind of, you can hear in my voice. It's the moment I really go, you know, all right, we got to let you go, because you know it's just the culmination of, you know, you've been thinking about it, and then for whatever reason you're like, and so after I take that video, I call the vet and I schedule to have the vet come the next day. She died that night. And I think this is something that is real, and we can all kind of attest to it, that you'll have somebody that's trying to figure out if it's time to let a dog go, and that they're all conflicted. And then they, you know, for whatever reason, the family sits down, they're like, okay, it's time. They make the decision. And the next day the dog's got, well, they'll say, it's like he has a spring in his step. It's like he didn't know. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. He's celebrating, hasn't found acceptance.
Yes, you've accepted it. Thank God. Thank you. I can go on and be happy. But we fall for it every time, and we leave them around for a little bit longer and disappoint them. I'd rather be too early than too late myself.
People though, but I'm with you, Linn, and I say if there's one thing I don't want you to have, it's the regrets of waiting too long. You can't change the
Oh, you can't change that. Yeah, that's the worst.
Well,
that's the worst.
I want to talk about the when they put Joe down, because I think that's also a kind of cool story. So those of you guys that are listening, there's a dog that Caesar had named Joe. His name was Cujo on Dog Whisperer. And so Joe lived the last years with Caesar and in the pack, and he was kind of like the front of the pack. He was like the leader of all the dogs. And so we're all at TCW, and we kind of got word like, hey, they're going to put Joe down. And so I remember we were done, and we escorted everyone off the ranch, and no one knew what was going on. And Caesar wanted his last moments with Joe. And so I actually have a picture with him face to face with Joe. Caesar's laying on the ground with Joe. And he's like they're just like staring at each other. It's a really amazing. It's one of my favorite pictures actually that I have, and no one's ever seen it. No one will probably ever see it. It's kind of one of those things that I'll probably keep. I'll share with you guys, obviously, but it's right before they put him down. And it's a really cool moment where that celebration. And I think I talked to Caesar about it, like, you know, that honoring the dog and those last moments and stuff like that, and thinking of everything they did and stuff like that. So
talk about what he does, Art. The way that he goes steps.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of like, I think having gratitude is one of those things that you kind of go through, or he would go through, and the picture, you know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, or whatever the saying is, and you can see in this one picture how grateful he is for everything that Joe gave him, you know, and I'm sure it was like that with Daddy. Of course, we weren't around when he put Daddy down. We were around when Junior was put down. I mean, not there, but, you know, we were still working with Caesar. But I think the honoring the dog, about the things that they gave to him, the lessons they learned, all the things that they helped the other animals, the other pack people. And Joe was a huge part of the ranch. You know, you were actually there for. Remember the one big fight with the husky?
So I'm gonna do a post on that because it's a story time post, and I think he let that happen on purpose. That's my take on it. We've all talked about that, but yeah, that was yeah, I remember that. You know, and I think the thing that to take from this, if anybody's listening, is there is a way to make this thing that's so shitty at least have a lot of a lot of nobility, right? You know, a lot of respect. The way that after it's done, you let your other dogs come in and be a part of it. You let your dogs experience the dog that had passed,
Yeah.
and then take everybody out and go walk and get out of there and just move and get out and start walking. And that's kind of almost the celebration part. I personally, I don't believe dogs become depressed. I believe they can become confused to the point of a problem, you know, after loss. But I don't think sadness is the problem. I mean, they're definitely going to take yours, but if you honor the process, I think you can minimize the impact on your rest of your dogs and the animals tremendously.
They have, if they don't get to process it properly, they have massive problems too. There is this, we don't.
What do you think they're going through?
They're going through a grieving process as well. If they don't get if they don't have it clean, it sticks. For an example, this mama dog, her babies died during giving birth, and while it was happening, the couple were still stuck in there, and Anita had to take the dog to the vet. So she didn't even get to finish the process. They put her under and C-section the puppies. Then they took her back to Anita's. She woke up all out of anesthesia, and from that point on, she was anxious and was tearing everything up. And so what we did was we got kittens. And I got some of this stuff on video. It's amazing. Got kittens for her. And she took care of them. She became more balanced. She got back to life. And she had the whole point of going for a walk, giving yourself something else to do to move on. If they don't get to move on, they have issues as well. And it was beautiful to see a dog nursing kittens and then becoming back to balance. It was really beautiful. And she had her favorite kitten, and I had him on my lap, and she came over and the kittens were. She grabbed the one that was her favorite and looked at me and took it back to her little thing. And then when I got this on video. It was really great. I was reaching or saying something to her, and she, I'm like, okay, you're right. I'm too close. And a sweet ass dog came up to me after the kitten went to sleep and said, "Hey man, I got to do what I got to do. You can't be reaching in like that." But a mom is a mom is a mom. Didn't matter. It wasn't her puppies. She didn't get to finish the mother nature part. And it really,
I understand that. That's an easy one to see. But how about if it's, let's say you have two dogs, they're not really together. One passes, the process isn't done properly. How do you think it affects them?
most of the dogs that I've seen that have a problem after a passing is mainly because the humans were unable to let go. And so the dogs just continued to feed off of that. And so then they get stuck in it as well. If they have their access to freedom or somebody who's able to let go, at least while you're around the dog until you can let go, they're good to go. Look, I had in 1 year, Cleo, 6 months later, Tuffy, right after that, 6 months later, Hugh, and Hugh died in my house in front of me in my arms, and the other dogs happened to be there while I was giving him mouth to mouth and everything. Took him out in the yard. I got a video up on there. It was literally 2 hours after that video he passed, and it was the first time he'd rolled over in the sun so long. I'm saying, wow, I haven't seen you do that in a while. This is great, Hugh. 2 hours later, he dies in my arms, and all my dogs were there. They were all good, after. I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. Obviously I didn't grieve, so they didn't either. They did. I mean, Hugh was like their buddy, their pal, the one they looked up to. But the next day, they didn't. They weren't. You couldn't tell. I could tell, but you couldn't tell that they were grieving him. They moved on really fast. So I think it just depends on who's guiding the thing.
Well, there's a different context I look at too. I mean, all of us have had groups of dogs long enough that we
Hang on, Todd. You're breaking up a little bit now.
That's not that. It's something going on in the ethos. That's not me.
Okay.
Sounds like a vacuum cleaner. Are we good?
Yeah.
Now you are.
Shit, my memory sucks. What was I saying?
You're talking about how cool I am, I think.
Yeah, that was it. Like if a dog is removed for a positive reason, you never see anything, right? You might see a little moment of, hey, where's my buddy at? And then everybody goes back to normal. So it's the way that it's internalized, that we see that they think they're going through it. So yeah, you remove one because it passes. There's definitely a different feeling left in the air, but it's the epitome of they're wired to move on. I mean, it's just
Well, I will say that when Emma passed away, I remember I told Anne, I go, it won't be much longer after she passes away that Hero's going to pass away. I said that to her, and sure enough, she passed away 3 weeks later. Only because it wasn't like they were like bonded. It was just the way it was just this. They had a connection, but it wasn't like a connection like, oh, we're best buds. They were just kind of like connected at the hip. Like we just did everything together. And I just had this feeling that he was going to pass away shortly after she passed away. Sure enough, he did. I just had this sense. Yep. I told the day she passed away, I said it won't be very much longer before Hero passes away. And sure enough, he passed away. And by the way, I don't know if you guys do this, but Linn was talking about songs, Humpty Hero. And so when Emma passed away, we had the vet come over, and Ann and I had to go to a wedding. And so the reason why I had the vet come over that day before we went to the wedding, which was we had to jump on a plane to go to a wedding. And so we're sitting, she passes away. The vet takes him away. And there was a song that was playing. I don't know how I ended up with this song, but it was Joni Mitchell's "Both Sides Now." And so the lyrics say something like, I loved you now from both sides now, from up and down. So basically saying that I've loved you from earth and now I love you from the other side of the clouds. I love you from both sides now, or something like that. And so we were in the plane.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I didn't even know it. I didn't even realize I did because I felt shitty after that. And there was a Linkin Park song that for some reason resonated with me. I remember I'd be running on the treadmill all tearing up like I'm fucking, trying to deal with the shit feeling that comes to follow it, the aftermath. That's funny. That's a memory I haven't thought of in a while.
It's all craziness.
This has been cheery. Fucking chipper.
Yeah. You know what though? Yeah. I feel a little better anyway.
I wore this referee shirt for nothing.
Nothing, bro.
You should have worn a big heart.
Yeah. This was a good therapy sesh.
Good. Yeah. Hopefully it felt good to kind of let some of that shit out, dude. Hold on. I want to make you feel a little bit better.
Oh, shit. Camera's moving.
It mean anything? What I'm saying is I'm hiding them in why the fuck are in that corner of a closet?
Hey, I gave that to you. Why is it in the corner?
That's what I'm fucking saying.
I did real well with your dog, and I kept her with mine for years, right there on a shelf.
When you gave me that, they thought it was they think it's a bomb when you go through the airport with those things. By the way.
Really?
Yeah.
You get really tested with it. So what I'm saying, dude, is I get it. My fucking dogs are in a closet right now.
When
and so
I've always gotten ashes also, but with Frankie, I didn't want his ashes because I just I wanted to remember him how I remembered him, and I didn't want to have to look at a box, and that's what I chose for him. That's that's just the only thing I got was his paw print and his hair. And actually, the other day, I was going through because it's starting to get cooler. Yeah, that too. But I was going through some old coats and jog jackets, and I found his. And I smelled it. It smelled just like him. Oh man, that was brought so much joy when I smelled him again. That was you're talking about nose first, right? That's a good example by what nose first is, by the way, because it took me back to so much joy.
I'm posting a nose first today. I'm going to do a nose first post today.
It's also an example of acceptance art. Because what did you say that you felt when you smelled
joy?
Them? Yeah, so that's where you know you've accepted it and you've moved through the right stages the right way.
It is about acceptance. It is about surrender and moving on. And I do feel better right now that I let that out, I guess. I might have to try and let it out further.
This episode's going to help a lot of people, dude. And I know that, we usually keep it to an hour, so we're going to wrap it up. But these unexpected ones sometimes are the best ones. So this one is really talking about grieving and all that stuff, and really appreciate Linn being vulnerable and sharing with us. And Todd always has really good insight and art with the profound stories, the things that tie everything together. So really appreciate you guys.
Thanks to whoever sent that question and started it all off.
Suzanne, I know exactly
her name was Suzanne. Yeah, that was Suzanne.
Thanks, Suzanne. Thanks, Suzanne.
She's from Europe.
Yeah. Oh, is it Olison?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Why don't you do a little sign off for us, brother?
All right. This was an amazing episode. It kind of went a totally different direction, which we had planned, but honestly, sometimes that's what happens. And that's what happens when we work with dogs. Sometimes we have a plan, we take a detour and end up in a better place. So thank you guys. If you guys aren't subscribing on YouTube, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Same thing on Spotify. We'd love to hear hear some of your comments, your feedback. We've been reading all of the stuff you guys have been doing on YouTube. So thank you guys, Todd, Linn, and Adam. See you guys later.
Guys.
Later, guys.